Woo! That was fun. I feel like I need to start like a YouTube series from bed. Bed talks. Welcome to my bed talk. Hey guys, it's Alex. Welcome to another video. Welcome back to my bedroom. I am so glad to have you here. So as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about something that's actually pretty old news. Like a year and a half old news. But being that I still get asked this question like daily, I figured that I should just come out, break it down for you guys, clear the air, and also that way I can just direct the people who ask me to this video. Kills two birds with one stone. A lot of you guys probably already know this, but again, I haven't fully explained what happened and why, and so that's what I'm gonna do right here in my bed talk. Before I get into the good stuff, I have to say that your support means the absolute world to me. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and that way I can keep on making these videos from you, from the comfort of my bed. Love you lots. So again, this happened back in May 2019, which already feels like a lifetime ago, especially given this year. So as most of you guys know, I was a full-time tasty producer at BuzzFeed. But what you guys may not know is just how much goes into that role. I also want to preface this video by saying this is not meant to be a bashing video whatsoever. I look back at my time at Tasty as some of the best, most formative years of my life. I learned so much, invaluable skills I learned there that I will take with me forward and use for the rest of my life. And people I met who have become my closest friends. So in no way is this video meant to be like shady. And also, maybe you'll be happy to know that I actually still work with Tasty and BuzzFeed. I work with them more in on-camera appearances and different fun things like that. So in my own life, I actually haven't completely and totally moved on from Tasty. What I did do, though, back in May, was quit my full-time Tasty producer role. And that is what I'm gonna be talking about tonight during my bed talk. I actually feel like I would be the worst TED Talk speaker. I go on so many tangents, as you guys know. Where was I? Back in May 2019, feels like a lifetime ago, I quit my full-time role as a Tasty producer. So when I started at Tasty, I was a little baby intern. I didn't really know anything. It's really crazy how I even got hired, to be honest. I knew I could learn and grow into the role, and I'm so grateful that Tasty and BuzzFeed just took a chance on me. I remember not knowing if I should apply for the internship or the fellowship, but I wanted to play it a little safe because I was unsure of what I could do at that point. So I went for the internship and I got it, and I remember from day one, I was like nose to the ground. Is that a saying? Nose to the grindstone? Something like that. I just was ready to work. I was ready to go for it. I was ready to get hired. I just knew that this was my dream job. So from that point to like the 3-year mark when I actually decided to quit the role, I did not stop. I'm telling you, I would work like all day, every day, weekends even, and that was no one else's choice but mine. I loved the job so much, and I think there was also something inside me because when I got hired, I didn't really have any of those skills to show. I just knew I could really do it. Besides like the food stuff, I knew I could do the food stuff. I've always loved to cook. I just didn't have any film experience, and I didn't also have a lot of like professional or like a culinary degree. So it felt like I was really gonna have to prove myself. And I think I didn't really stop that mentality for the entire time that I worked there. And unfortunately, I didn't have as many of the skills that I do now in regards to like self-care and taking time for myself, meditating, journaling, going out into nature and just disconnecting. I was just go, 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 go. And again, that was my own choosing. But of course, I was like in this culture that was very fast-paced. I mean, when you work for any media company or you're making content for the internet, even as I do now, there's a lot of pressure there. It's a mentality that you gotta keep up. You gotta always be creating. You gotta always be finding something new. You always gotta be innovative. And it's so exciting and it's so fun. And I have a lot of energy, as you guys know, so I could keep up in a way, but eventually you deplete yourself. And that will always catch up with you. And I think that it's also setting aside BuzzFeed or Tasty or media companies in general or content creating in general. I think it's kind of like a fault of our society that most of us have a mentality that we have to go and work all the time. And for that reason, burnout is actually really common. I just didn't know. Although I had managers at the beginning who were telling me like, you gotta slow down, don't work too hard, you're gonna burn yourself out. And I kind of felt like, I'm not gonna burn myself out. Like, what does that even mean? 3 years later, I was totally and completely burnt out. But basically the job itself entailed like so many different hats. So not only was I ideating recipes and recipe testing and shooting the videos and doing the lighting and the audio, and then also editing those videos and then looking at data after a video went up. You know, you lump it all into one and you don't stop working, and it's kind of like a recipe for disaster. Pun intended. So after years of being an actual Tasty producer, I also added on the piece of being featured in videos. That's when we started doing series like Behind Tasty, I Draw You Cook, and what many people don't know is that actually wasn't really a part of my job. That was extra stuff that I decided to take on because I found that I really loved being on camera and I really wanted to do more of that. But as you can imagine, that was a really big time commitment on top of fulfilling my top-down Tasty producer role. And in that time, I actually found my deep love of being on camera. And again, I'm so grateful for this all because all of those steps got me to finding out that I had a love for being on camera and making videos, and not just being behind the camera and producing. I really wanted to kind of start shifting my focus to the on-camera work. And at that point, I started my own YouTube channel. Hello! Shout out to the day oneers. My Instagram was growing, and so I was starting to invest more time in that. So I just had my hands in a lot of different buckets. And after already having been burnt out, and then continuing to add more pieces of pie onto my plate, shall we say. Love a good food analogy. I kind of just ended up flatlining. I wanted more time to invest in the on-camera work. I wanted more time to invest in even just like my social life, my dating life, like all of these different parts of myself that I was neglecting. I wanted to start just shifting my focus to me. And again, I think there's a lot to unpack there. A lot of us aren't really conditioned to put ourselves first. And unfortunately, we end up paying the price for that later, like I did. For like a year, I ended up being just totally burnt out and tired, and took a lot of time to rest and to figure out what I actually wanted, to kind of go through a weird period of like isolation and soul searching. And now that I feel like I'm finally coming out of the other side of that, I've realized that there's really just nothing more valuable than I don't really know what I was gonna say. Then this is again why I would be a bad TED Talk speaker. I forget everything I'm about to say. There's really nothing more valuable than putting yourself first. It's a hard thing to do. It takes a lot of practice. I'm still not there. It's still uncomfortable for me. Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy because I have to walk away from things that maybe someone would never walk away from. But again, learning how to navigate your own inner voice and trusting your intuition and walking forward, always walking forward, even when it sounds crazy to someone else, is what I believe moves you forward in life. Making the decision to quit was a really, really hard decision. I didn't take it lightly, and in many ways, the reason it's taken me so long to talk about is because it's kind of still hard for me to process. Tasty was my whole life for 3 years. I grew with the page, and I still look at it as like a piece of my heart. There comes a time when making a big jump is all you can really do. And like I mentioned in my last bed talk, I'm all about making big jumps in my life. In fact, the biggest jumps in my life have proven to give me the biggest rewards. And I, at that point in May, was so ready to see what was waiting on the other side. And here it is. Moving back home was waiting on the other side. Talking to you from my bed. But really, I wouldn't have it any other way. I still have great, great friends who work there. Some of the most talented and hardworking people I have ever met work and have come from BuzzFeed and Tasty. And I will always, always value the years that I spent there. Again, I grew up in many ways at Tasty. I learned so many different skills that I wouldn't have otherwise had. I wouldn't be here right now, truly, if it wasn't for BuzzFeed, Tasty. And, you know, I ate a lot of good food too, so there's that. Well, I hope that clears things up for you guys. I hope that gives you more insight into what was happening then and now, and I hope that people will stop asking me that question. Just kidding, I'll just send them to this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. More good stuff to come, and I promise I'm gonna get back in my kitchen soon. You won't have to listen to me talking from my bed forever. Unless you want me to, let me know. All right, catch you guys later. Love you guys.